What's going on, guys? So this is going to be another Friday market review. We're just covering the past week, and we're pretty much just going to, review these 6 analyses that we put out on Sunday for the Sunday Market Blitz, and we kind of show you guys what the potential is for the week ahead, and then we like to come on here on Friday and then show you guys how it all played out and how accurate it was, and if any trades played out. So let's just get into it. Let's start off with DXY as we usually do. This is how we kick off the Sunday Market Blitz as well. So we were moving above a resistance level here at 92.5. We just had pushed above that level, right? And now it was pulling back. We were looking for a higher low. So we were kind of around this support level, right? Waiting for it either to reverse or to continue lower. Now, if it continued lower, it may just continue to consolidate within this range. But if we did confirm a higher low here, with good confirmations, good bullish momentum, it definitely would look more like a continuation. And because this is, closer to happening, because we're above support, we're waiting for this to kind of reverse. We already saw some indecision. That's why this is the blue trade path, the most ideal and also the most probable, right? This is going to happen first before we get a break of support and then maybe a retest, and then we're looking short on some lower highs, right? So primary, secondary option here. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so it actually confirmed support, gave us the higher low, and then continued with pretty good bullish momentum. Look at that, we got an MA cross in there, and then the thing just took off from there into our next resistance, which is where we expected it to go because we had labeled this, again, it's labeled here as a prior range. That just means price action in the past had, reacted at both these zones, and we actually saw price action bounce between this resistance and this support quite a bit, again, in the past. So made it a very good target. We're aware of this zone, and price action followed through and went straight to that level. Okay, so that played out absolutely perfect. I'd say 100% accurate here. So yeah, played out great. Let's move on to AU. All right, so this one was moving sideways. It also was pretty dependent on what the dollar was going to do. We were favoring a bullish outlook on the dollar, so that generally means that we'll see more of a bearish outlook here on AU, right? Because the dollar goes up, you would see AU start to drop, right? Inversely correlated. So that lined up here on the TA as well, right? So we saw key resistance tested multiple times. This is technically a lower high to here. This really didn't break anything up there above 0.74. These were more or less fake outs. Came back down and just kept ranging for a while essentially. So we were expecting it to drop from this level, and then we were going to target the bottom of the range and then ultimately look for the break lower and then continuation of the higher time frame. If we were to consider the bullish entry, we'd have to break resistance and then form a higher low above, right? So that's like a few steps away, right, before we can enter or consider long opportunities. That's why this orange path is always secondary in my analysis. That's just how I kind of label these. And the blue path is going to be the primary. So the blue path is always closer to executing by the time I deliver the analysis to you guys. And for a lot of reasons. Again, primarily bearish here. We just rejected key resistance. Nice rejection there. These are lower highs. So, this is obviously closer to playing out than this is. Okay, this would happen at a later date opposed to maybe a different week opposed to this week. All right, so let's just play it forward. Let's see how it played out. So as we expected, the thing rejected. Nice double top right off this lower resistance level. Again, just confirming these two highs is a lower high to these. And then it followed through with nice bearish momentum. And it honestly dropped more than I thought it would. I thought we'd see more lower highs, more of gradual structure as we dropped to the downside. But again, there was some influence from the dollar. Huge bullish momentum as we covered just before. And, that's kind of what fueled this as well. So overall, very good on this one as well. Pretty accurate, I'd say. Let's move on to AJ. All right, so this is going to be similar to AU as well. They show the same sentiment for the most part. However, the way price action forms is always going to be slightly different. We always like to see a little more volume here on AJ. But they were both consolidating, as you can see. This one had a little more of a fake out to the downside. And then, a nice pullback here, nice reversal. So either way, it was showing pretty much the same as AU, consolidating. and then overall very bearish. So this level was already pretty much at the bottom of the range, and it had broken this lower time frame bullish channel right here. So it was already transitioning, right? It was already making its break to the downside. We really just wanted to see a clear 80.75, maybe see a lower high below that, and then watch it follow through to the downside. Okay, so this was obviously our primary, much closer to happening than our secondary up here, which would be the bullish option, which would really require a break of this range in a bullish way, and then a higher low above to confirm the break. And obviously, that's a long way away. So primary, secondary makes a lot of sense. Let's play a forward, see how it did. Okay, I mean, this is no surprise. We just saw AU drop off a cliff. So, AJ is pretty much going to be the same. Analysis followed through. However, didn't give us much of a retest. So this would have been pretty much entries on this bearish variation here as it's breaking support. So much volume there, and the thing just had a lot of momentum and dropped much, much lower down towards key support. Pretty much it went straight to our negative 61 fib level. So that's pretty good. But yeah, it went our direction as well as we expected. Nice trade there as well. So pretty much 3 for 3 on sentiment at least. Let's go ahead, jump over to UJ. Now this one was slightly trickier. If you just look at this price action right here, clearly this zone has been, a major part. 110.5, right? We've had multiple retests, massive rejection off that level. And it looks like every time we reject it, right, we're getting more volume. Right here, goes lower, pulls back, test, goes lower, pulls back now, goes lower. So the idea was to catch a lower high and then see it drop. Okay, so that was, because there was so much volume here, we had just pushed back below, this whole area out of this consolidation for the most part. So this made the most sense. Okay, we're looking for that lower high off that pullback, something to confirm and give this kind of weight, right? Because it pulled into this zone, right? Doesn't mean it's bearish, but you need to see structure. So that's why we wanted to wait for the lower high. However, if this were to go bullish again, we need to see a higher low above the level that we just dropped below. Okay, makes sense. Pretty simple. Just need to see how price action reacts at this level. So let's play it forward. Okay, so this thing dropped a little bit more down to 109.15 and then pulled back. And now we're getting the lower high. So technically this is still valid, right? It pulled back. This is it just happened it took a little more time to happen, but pretty much it's pulling back now. Here's a lower high. We're consolidating. So now it's going to look very similar next week. Either we're going to see some sort of reversal at this level and then look to target lower, or it's going to break back above 110. And then we'll spot and wait for that higher low. Okay? But yeah, I'll have more to say about this one, especially on Sunday, because this one's pretty close to something, but not quite there yet. Few confirmations away. So let's move over to EJ. This one looked really great, super clean setup, pretty textbook pattern, right? Nice descending triangle. Clear support, however, was being tested quite a bit, right? A couple fake outs here. But either way, descending triangle, pretty much hinting at the point that this is bearish, and it's pretty much suggesting that it's going to continue in that way. So yeah, we pretty much saw the break of the pattern at the point of analysis, and we really were faced with two options on how to get in on this if you weren't already. So it's either going to pull back, test the pattern for structure, and then continue lower, or it's going to pull back up to 130 and we'll look for a lower high. Because technically, as long as price action is below 130 here, it's overall very bearish still, right? That's why this bullish option here, we need to see a clear 130 with a higher low and then push above, right? So really could pull all the way back to here and still remain bearish. Okay, so we had a couple options, but let's play it forward and see how it played out. So again, no retest. As we saw this week, momentum just kind of took price action off a cliff. No return whatsoever, but there is still an entry there. Nice, clear engulfing after a lower high, final lower high of the pattern. It took about 3/4 of the way to develop, and then we had a swift breakout. That's actually really clean of a setup right there. If that wasn't good enough for you, you do have 3 bearish candles, strong bearish candles in a row. It's a nice variation, and the risk reward would have played out here. All right, so nice EJ trade. Nice EJ trade. We'll reanalyze this on Sunday and see what's up with this one. But yeah, another pretty good on sentiment there. I would say UJ is neutral. It's following the analysis, but no trade played out, and we're pretty much going to use the same analysis for next week. Slightly different, but so we'll call that neutral. EJ was right on sentiment, and same with these three. So 4-1, not bad so far. Let's check gold. So gold, we were still in the daily because we just saw a whole bunch of volume. So it was a little suspicious. We didn't really want to risk it on gold. We really wanted to wait for it to do its thing, return to normal market conditions, and just start forming normal structure again, because this stuff is kind of bogus. You can't trade a 200 pip push in a day. Like, what are you going to do with that? Unless you know something and you're sniping up here, but there's just no trade within this, right? So we got to let it do its thing. Obviously, the volume was going to continue or stay high. The volume was going to stay high, and it was going to pull back to some degree. This is a usual thing on gold. And that's what we're seeing, right? So it's pulling back. We do want to see it pull back to 1800 and then react there, because it actually is broken structure and also a very key level. Okay, so it's important that we saw a nice reversal here, lower high, and then saw something to the downside. That would have been a nice entry. Or if we were to go bullish, we'd like to see it ideally break back above 1800 into this range and then ultimately clear it. But let's see how it played out. So indecision on indecision. So this is actually good. This is actually really, really good, because it's looking like we could see a potential reversal here, right at 1800. But I think once we get, this is going to be a week where we get to analyze on the 4-hour finally, because we're getting closer to something. So we're going to take a closer look at this one on Sunday. Finally get to the 4-hour time frame. I feel like we've been waiting forever, but it could be gold season again, guys. So we could be shorting, could be getting some good trades on this. But yeah, not a bad week. I'd say this one's neutral too, right? A daily time frame. It takes you need a couple weeks for something to really show here. So let's not even count that one. But either way, 4 for 2. That's not bad at all. Good movement here. But yeah, guys, so it's another Friday market review. And again, yeah, stick around on Sunday where we get into next week. We'll have 12 plus pairs to present to you guys. 6 for me, 6 plus from Angelo. But yeah, guys, good stuff this week. So I'll see you guys then on Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.